Hey guys, I'm Coach Smith with X&O Recruit, and I've been coaching football for 25 years as a head college coach, as a head high school coach across 2 different states in rural communities, and currently I'm in the DFW area as a head coach. And the one thing I figured out, and the one thing that is consistent through all the changes in recruiting, is that your son has one window. That's it. That's the only window he gets for recruiting. And if we don't get him connected to the right colleges, he's never going to find a home and be able to play college football and fulfill the dreams that you have for him and that he has for himself. Our goal today in the next few minutes is to share with you the keys that get your son to reach those goals. Because recruiting is not about talent anymore. I see so many talented athletes that never get found, that never play at the collegiate level, that never get seen. And I've coached some of the greatest athletes I've coached never played college football because they didn't have the most important part, which is visibility. You've got to be seen. We've got to get you out there. And with the resources and the information overload that college coaches get, they'll bypass you. If you're with a recruiting service or you're just signed up with another agency, you have got to be the one putting yourself out there. And we believe X&O Recruit, it does give you the opportunity to put yourself out there, to get yourself recruited. Because again, you know your son's talented. Everyone knows he's talented, but it's not talent. It's exposure. Exposure leads to evaluation. Evaluation leads to conversation. Conversations lead to opportunity. We've got to get your son visible, and we built a product that'll do that. Your son doesn't need 25 to, he doesn't even need 100 offers. We get obsessed with this offer game of, my top 25. You need the right schools interested in your son. And here's what I want to tell you. If your son's an FBS player and he's a Division I player and he's a 3-star or 4-star player, he doesn't need to watch this video. You guys can turn this off now because your son's being seen. Everybody in the country knows who your son is. But if you're that other 90% that's going to play FCS or D2 or D3 or NAIA, JUCO, and you're trying to get your son out there because of things that you don't control, and that is the biggest thing is things that we don't control that's hurting the recruitment process. Transfer portal. It's not your son's fault he's competing with a 21-year-old transfer. That's not his fault. You're in a rural area where college coaches just can't get to watch him play live, and they don't even know you exist. That is not your son's fault. It's a matter of the system. So what we've done and what our goal is here is to make sure that we get your son visible and we find those right 25. I used to tell athletes all the time, I would talk young men out of coming to my school because it just didn't fit. It either didn't fit their academic goals. I was not an engineering school. So if you're a young man, your son wanted to be an engineer, he didn't need to come to the school I was coaching at. Or it didn't fit his financial means of what aligned with his family's goal. Financially, it just didn't make sense. So the goal is to put you guys in a situation where we find you the right 25 to 50 schools. And we've got a college intel system that gives you every one of those answers before you ever start reaching out to the coaches. The next part of this is to build your card out. We have the most elite card out there. Our card is a one-stop shop. It includes transcripts, early enrollees, all of those things, the academics, the athletics, the film, the training, the right photos, the right optics. It's visually appealing. It's shareable. It's all those things. We built out the most elite card we could have because as a former college coach, I had to have all the answers before I went to the next desk. The next thing is we've got to target the right schools. We've got to pick the right schools and make sure that we're targeting schools that fit who your son is and what kind of athlete he is. Then we have to connect. Once you connect, then we start building relational integrity that leads to us tracking and getting to those offers. And all of that comes through X&O Recruit system. Everything comes through us. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go to another place. You don't have to build out another website. You have the keys to send out all this information. So here's what we're going to look at next. First of all, we got to build the card out. And that's probably the most important piece. And we're going to look at this card right now. As I click on it, it starts to open up. Here's what you see. You see a very appealing card that's got an outline. It tells you that this young man's got one college offer. He's my running back at my school now. He's got 6 schools that have shown interest. Why is that so important? Because when you scroll down here and see these 6 schools that are showing interest, that tells other schools that are in that same size that they want to be interested in this student athlete as well, because peer pressure is a real thing in recruiting, guys. If one school offers and they're in the same conference, you can bet the other school is going to offer. So we've got to build a card that puts that kind of pressure on them. The student athlete's an early enrollee, his size, his weight, all those major numbers that you need to have are here. Then we have the links, the huddle link, which is extremely important. We've got to see the film. Then we've got the X account. Then we've got the Instagram. Then we've got his website. And as we scroll down, we start to see highlights that you can embed into his page. You can also contact him, NCAA ID, contact his coach, clips, any videos, trainings, other recruiting cards, other offer cards don't give you the ability to put up training. They only want to put the huddle film. But sometimes coaches need to see more. All his GPA, your ability to download transcripts. When you get into the D2, D3, and NAIA world, academic money really matters. So being able to see that transcript is really important. Personal highlight films, offers. Then we get into measurables, tested measurables, tracking measurables, miles per hour. All these things are accessible right here. We think this is one of the best features, your ability to put that you play multiple sports. You hear college coaches say this all the time. I want someone who plays multiple sports. Well, you can add those photos in there. And then you get endorsements. And then when you hit, I'm interested in a player, this comes up and you're able to put in your information. It goes right to it. And I'm going to show you the back end of this in a few minutes here. Also, we've got the ability to export data, PDF packet. Coaches want content. They want accessibility. That position coach has got to go to that recruiting coordinator and he's got to have something in hand to give him. How do you contact? Shareable link so you can email it, text it, copy it, and it comes across your phone and very aesthetically in a great look. So this is our player card, and you can see you have all these different features on it, but it is a one-stop shop. You get all the information you want. So as we go back to our slide, we're going to continue to go down the road. The next place is we're trying to find those right. We're trying to find the fit. We talked about finding the fit, and we've got to stop guessing. So we put a college intel system that allows you to see the intel, see exactly what you want to do and what school you want to go to. So as we go to this and we start looking at this, I'm going to exit out of here so you guys can see it, man. This is not a presentation. This is not a show. This is to show you what's really happening here. So we're going to go right here and look at this. So here we go. This is the back end of your page. This is actually my son's page, who's our sophomore quarterback. This is all his information. This tells you how many people's viewed his page, what his profile strength is, all this other information, how to edit his card, his link, which tells you you can copy that, you can text that, you can send that information out right now. Account and identity tells you all this, but when we go down here, you start to see really what makes us elite. It starts tracking you, telling you what prospect level is, what the analytics behind that is. So your son has realistic data entry points that tell him where he needs to go and what schools he needs to commit to. This is the place you need to go. And these are the things you need to see. Then we have a playbook feature that allows you to see recruiting 101, recruiting timelines, NCAA talent. It will tell you by month to month what your son should be doing if he is a sophomore, a junior, a senior, or a freshman. It tells you all those things that you need to be looking at right now. And then when you go to College Intel, which I've talked about, this is the find the fit piece. We got to find the fit. So you're able to search on all these things, whether it's a divisional thing, what type of school it is, public or private, religious affiliation, any states you want to go to, conference, cost, size, majors, all these things, and you can look up all this information and you can pull from all these schools, okay? Then we have the College Connect engine, which is probably one of our most elite features. So as it comes up here, what you're going to start to see is you're going to see it's going to search. And then all of a sudden there's 19,000 coaches that have their email, their X account, all the information you need to see. You can reach out to them. Then we built in a database that allows you to have personalized emails that you can add to. You can type more info in, but then you can also take the base template. When you hit this send in Gmail, here's the coolest part about this. It is going to go directly to your Gmail and you're going to send it out from your personal page. It's not going to be a recruiting service that some college coach is just going to put in his trash. It's going to be an email from you with all the information of your huddle, your player card, and all those things. There's no one else doing this. And here's the reality, guys. You can either invest now or you can pay later. And that's it. If you'll invest now, you don't pay later. If you don't invest in your son's recruitment now, you're going to pay his tuition later. Then the best feature is you can go into, like, you can see my sons. I'm just a dad, just like you guys. We built his database of coaches we want to contact, who we need to follow up with, who we need to email, who needs another email, who's responded, how do we log that reply. All of these optics of places that we can contact, and you build that pipeline. It's like your favorites list on your phone. So you can instantaneously reach out to those guys and you can contact them. So as we go back to our presentation here, I just want to show you, I want you to see all the things. We just talked about your ability to send a personalized email to a college coach, and we give you that connection. There's no more million searches trying to find emails that are probably fake on the school's website because they're trying to not get those emails. We have dug and we've got the actual emails. So we're sending it to real people. We're getting connected. We're getting you connected to that position coach, then up the ladder to the recruiting coordinator, area coordinators, all the way to the head coach. A lot of colleges are still out there, only head coaches offer. So we've got to start tracking and scaling and getting you to those places. And that's what's extremely important. And X&O, we've given you the keys to be able to do that and send as many emails out as you want to start creating the frequency and the visibility that'll get you offered. This is our goal. These are real messages on X that came from our athletes sharing their X&O information and their player cards and texting it out, messaging out. These are real comments from college coaches inviting our athletes to camp, whether they had high school film or not. But they're so visible, they're so out there that these colleges are saying, let's get this kid to campus and see what he's about. And once you get to campus, you just got to go perform and you got to do what you do. Exposure creates opportunity. You got to get found. You're in the middle of nowhere playing ball at a very high level and you're the best player on your team. But if you're not found, it doesn't matter. Once you're found, then you'll get evaluated. Then you'll get contacted. Then you'll get offered. Every athlete wants to go on his X account and post this offered graphic. Parents, don't miss the opportunity to let your son post this graphic once he's been found, evaluated, contacted, and offered. Don't miss it. Pay now or pay later. But if you'll invest now into this process, into a system that helps you win in recruiting, you won't have to pay later. So as we go, I want to show you some real testimonies. I'm going to share a little bit about these parents. First one on the top left is the dad of a 28-0 lineman. Young man was not getting any seen. He has the measurables. He has the tool. His dad's a former Division I athlete who played at a Power 5 school. But when he got into the recruiting optic, he realized that the recruiting game had changed and he was lost and he didn't know how to do it. He partnered with X&O, and you can see, he said, I was sending emails into a black hole. Within weeks, my son head coach was actually calling him. He was invited to over 9 camps this summer because of his exposure and because he was reaching out to people on X&O. Miss Carter was another one. She was a mom of a 27 tight end. She's not a football person. How many of you guys are not football people? You have no clue what you're doing, but your son's got talent, he's got measurables, and he wants to play college football, and you as a parent are just lost. Well, Miss Carter's a perfect example of that. She's not a football person, but the weekly checklist told her exactly what to do. We give you step-by-step guidelines what you need to be doing if your son is a sophomore, a junior, or a senior, and what you need to be tracking it so that you stay up to date and keep the frequency and visibility rolling. Miss Tasha's got a 28 running back. She went from 0 coach replies to actively talking with 5 coaches. She's a single mother who was reaching out to people and just looking on the internet and Google searching email addresses and could not get connected. Once she got into a system in place, she started getting replies and getting her son seen, and he's having 5 active conversations right now. The Davis family has a 26 quarterback. The problem was quarterbacks, they only signed one. Once he joined with X&O, he started, you see what he says, the roadmap took the guesswork out. He committed before the season ended. He went from having nothing. He joined with X&O Recruit. We started giving him systematic process and how to frequency and how to build out the email templates and what to put on social media and how to market himself and how to build that brand. And all of a sudden he had a D2 full ride before he ever even stepped foot his senior year, and he's ready to roll. How awesome would that be going into your senior year, knowing your son has a future, he has a home, and you can take the stress of that off. Waiting or doing nothing is a real significant cost. Why are you waiting? Because here's what happened. I can tell you a personal story. I failed at this. My son was coming out of his junior year before we ever started the recruiting process. We were too late. Every board was filled. All the FCS programs that loved him. We had one FCS program in a bordering state to Texas that their head coach called me and said, we're going to try to talk our commit into decommitting so we can offer your son. That's how much they loved his tape. But the young man wouldn't decommit, and those coaches were going to keep their word. Well, that young man had started a year earlier, so he got the full ride, and my son didn't, because the boards were filled. Film goes stale. Option strength. So here's what we're trying to do today, and what X&O is trying to do from a lot of different ways. We're trying to give you options, because as a parent and as a student athlete, we believe this: options make you dangerous, but you need to invest now or you're going to pay later, because this recruiting window will close and you're going to not have it back. You don't want to miss it. So here's the last thing I'm going to tell you. Imagine their last game. You're walking out on senior day. You got your hand around your son that you're so proud of. He's been the best player on his team for 3 years. He's been a 3-year starter. Everybody in the community loves him, and you've had this great experience. But you did not invest early, and now you're about to have to pay, because there's so many questions as you walk across that field of senior night. Is he going to get to play at the next level? Is my son going to get to fulfill his dreams? And you're going to know in the back of your mind, I did everything I could to get him recruited, or you're going to have the regret of saying I should have done more. So invest now or pay later is a real thing that I've lived. And I'm going to make sure that my children, my athletes in my program, and my own personal children, I never have to have this moment. We built a product to make sure you don't have to have this moment. You get to walk across that senior stage, that senior field, across that 50-yard line, and his name's called, and all his all district and all state accolades, and how many games he's won, how well respected he is in the community, knowing that you know the answer to his future. We built in options for you guys. If you're a senior, here's the deal. Pay the $149, get on this thing for 90 days, start connecting with coaches, get yourself the offer you want, and then get going. My encouragement, though, if you're not a senior, is to do the all-season recruiting pass, because what my business partner and I have learned throughout this process is recruiting never stops. It is 365 days a year. You've got to build frequency. You've got to be connecting with colleges. You've got to constantly be streamlining, because you go from off-season to camp season to in-season, and you hit rinse and repeat until they graduate. But I'm telling you, that senior year after in-season, it's done. So my encouragement and my recommendation is sign up at $4.99. You get this full service for 1 year. No automatic renewals. You get it and you have it. Now, if you've got a freshman or sophomore, the overtime pass is where you want to go. Get this. You've got it for 3 to 4 years. You're done paying. You never pay again. And you have the service till he graduates, or for his entire life, ever how long you need it. But my encouragement and what I'll tell you is the all-season recruiting pass allows you to build the frequency, because in January, those guys are more accessible. In April, those coaches are more accessible than they are in November. But you still got questions. Just sign up today for $149. Get started after 90 days. We can continue that service and we can get you built into the all-season pass. But here is the ultimate thing that I've got to ask you. Do you want to invest now, or do you want to pay later? That's the only question you got to answer.